probably do need something like this as a minimum spec for internet browsing these days. It can get pretty intensive, you know. Hi, hello, welcome. I heard that you need a new PC. So, I don't mean to brag, but I'm something of a PC nerd myself. So, before I can give you any recommendations, what kind of PC are you after? Like, how frequently do you use your PC? A couple times a week? Not too much? Okay. Do you have like 100 tabs open or just like two? Two, not too many. Okay, very light browsing. Any intensive apps like maybe for video editing like Premiere, Adobe Premiere, After Effects, DaVinci, any softwares like Blender, Unreal Engine, Unity, things that'll use quite a bit of PC. None of them? Okay. Just some good old internet. You play any games? Because they can be kind of intensive sometimes. Okay, so Bloons Tower Defense. Right. Okay, we can work with that. Do you have a budget in particular? Okay. I think I can give you some good recommendations, but there might be parts that we might have to cut back on a little bit, but I want you to have the best internet browsing experience. So, let me think. I think, let's start with the graphics card. I think I have just the right graphics card for you. You see this right here? Nowadays, everything, just internet browsing is so intense that I don't know if I could recommend anything less than a 4090 to you in good faith. You really need to future-proof yourself, you know, like 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 60 years, you know? That's what we're all about. And 4090, it's a real powerhouse for internet browsing, and I don't know if I could recommend you anything less. In good faith, of course. You probably do need something like this as a minimum spec for internet browsing these days. It can get pretty intensive, you know. What do you think of it? It looks great as well, right? Yeah, it looks great. That's all you really need most of the time. 4090 sounds great as well. You should get this one. Maybe you can get away with a 3080 Ti, but I don't know if that'll be a good option for you. So for the CPU, I was thinking maybe the Ryzen Threadripper. I know some people might tell you that it's a little bit too much for your need, but you really need to future-proof yourself, you know? Future-proof yourself for like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. And internet browsing these days, it's more intensive than people let on to be, so don't be afraid to go for this one, okay? It's a great little CPU. You can like tap on it and it'll be perfectly fine. Chuck it around a little bit, it'll still be fine. It's built like nothing you've ever seen. And for the next part, oh yes, this. Okay, well, because of your budget, and because I chose some really good parts for your GPU and CPU, we might have to cut back on the motherboard expense a little bit. So I was thinking this one. Yeah, this one should be fine. I'm sure it'll fit. Yeah, I'm sure this motherboard will be fine. Might look a little bit old-fashioned. It's more versatile than it makes out to be. So don't be too worried about that. I've personally never used it myself, but I've heard great things about it. So from very credible people in the industry. So you should. This is a very good, very solid option. It was made many years ago, but it's still going strong. Even though it might be a little bit less conventional. You can't always worry about what other people think, right? Next up. Oh yeah, this thing, okay. So, RAM. What brand is this? Ballistics. Yeah, this is a pretty solid RAM. But honestly, I'm not a huge fan of how the outer cover looks, so I always like to, take it off. I don't know why people don't. It looks like it's just purely a cosmetic thing anyway. Wake up, sheeple. So I don't exactly remember what the stats were for the ballistics RAM. I think it was DDR4 36,000 megahertz and was it 16 gigs or was it 8 gigs? I don't quite remember. What does this one say? Oops. This one is DDR3 and it doesn't say what the timing is. The megahertz. Well, the thing is, I recommended a really nice ballistics RAM too. It's like a pretty good RAM, a solid RAM. This one, it's a little bit more budget, but unfortunately, that's just how I have to do it to, balance out, because the budget just really doesn't allow for a more expensive one. So we'll just have to go with that one. I'm sure it'll work. There's 4 slots for a reason, right? I mean, it would be just nonsensical if they made it so that you had to use the same RAM in all 4 slots. Don't listen to what they say. What I'm saying right here, this is the industry secrets. These are the secrets you need to know, okay? No one else is gonna tell you this. This RAM, perfectly fine. Don't even worry. And of course, stock fan. What more do you need? I know people crap on these all the time, but I don't see the problem with them. They're really good and they fit into your budget, and that's just good all around, right? You don't really need more than one. Air flows everywhere, okay? Like, you can breathe near your PC, there's air going through it. You don't really need more than one of these. That's not how air works. One of them, perfectly enough. Okay, air will go where it wants to go, and it will go through your PC. Yeah, it's like a fan for a hot summer day. Like, even humans, they don't need more than one fan. Just one of these. That's all you need. One stock fan in the bag, baby. Happy? Happy. Good, okay. Good to hear. Next up. Okay. So nowadays people do like to use things like SSD, HDDs. Honestly, I think they're a little bit too much for your needs, and they also don't fall into the budget. I was thinking a floppy disk would be perfectly acceptable for you, right? I mean, you don't need to store that much stuff anyway, like a budget as well. Yeah. They're old-fashioned, but you know, back in my day we used this all the time, and it's not like they've stopped working or anything. They're still around after all these years, which might not be the same for newer technology, so you know that this is a solid contender. But if you do need something a little bit faster, we can use a USB stick instead for your storage needs. I'm sure it'll be enough, like the floppy disk and a USB stick. That's more than enough, really. And these USB sticks, they're pretty cheap. You can buy them right here from my place, actually, at a discounted price. Just for you. Just for you. I'll let you know the price at the very end or something. Or you can just give me your bank account, and we do offer a service. You can just give me a bank account and I'll take the exact needed amount from it. I've got a lot of testimonies from many loyal customers throughout the years, so you really don't have anything you need to worry about. Yeah. Next up, we need something to power the entire workstation, PC. So I was thinking, this one's a little bit heavy. Normally people might recommend like 750 volts, 500 volts, 750 volts, 1000 volts, Corsair, something like that. Well, I like to really think outside of the box, you know. I don't really like being confined in my own field of expertise. So I was thinking that instead of a power supply or PSU, we can turn that around and use a UPS instead. So why use a PSU when you can use a UPS? Like, it literally says uninterruptible power supply in the name. Isn't that better than just power supply? Like, come on. I think I'm onto something. And other people, they just don't know it yet. So I brought one with me. It's a little bit on the larger side, but you know, we need to future-proof, okay? We need to think outside the box. We need to think in terms of 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years. Buy it for life, you know? That's the mentality I want to have to all my customers. Let me just show you what the UPS looks like. Okay. It's a little bit heavy for sure. I'm gonna put it down. It's a bit heavy. Anyway, as you could see, it was from a very well-known brand. You can't even get it here, okay? This is shipped directly from the US. Yes, the US of A, and come on, you can't question my logic. PSU, UPS has to be better, uninterruptible. So on the pieces that I think that are less important, I definitely gotten more budget versions, budget-friendly versions. So yeah, but this is a good piece. This piece, the price of it is a little bit more similar to the GPU and CPU, which are a little bit on the pricier side, but to compensate and to balance that out, I've gotten more budget-friendly versions for everything else. Next up we have the computer case, and at this point we're pretty much out of budget. We're running a little bit low on that end. So I came up with a very innovative solution that I think you might like. It's a cardboard box. I know it just looks like a cardboard box, okay? It might just look like a cardboard box. But it's actually very, very good an option for right now, okay? Well, you see the top of the box. It's pretty open, right? It's very customizable. It can fold it in or out. So it's also got the airflow, like as I was talking about before. That's why you don't really need more than one tiny fan, right? You've already got all this airflow. The air is flowing, okay? Yeah, and then you can customize the top like not many normal PC cases even give you that option. Look at it. Fully customizable. You can get different sizes, but I chose the most budget-friendly version. And again, I always have these in stock. You can get them here anytime. Special discount just for you, okay? And you can spray paint it, you can airbrush, put makeup on it, whatever you want to do with it. It's literally a canvas, an empty canvas. You can do whatever you want with it. Not many PC cases can let you do that, right? Right? Exactly. Now, because we are a little bit less conventional in how it's put together, we might need some extra forces to hold everything together. So I am thinking of throwing in this duct tape just for you at a very, very, very discounted rate, okay? Like, I don't think you can get this rate anywhere else. It's that good. Well, I want to keep my customer base, you know? I want to keep my customer base and retain them very loyal customers for the future. So I like to throw in little things here and there, and I'm sure it'll help you a lot when you're assembling the PC, or maybe just even moving it around. Very, very useful, okay? As I mentioned before, we've kind of exhausted the budget already, so I'm just gonna throw in this completely for free, okay? Free of charge. You've seen this bad boy before. This is my old Wii remote. Who needs a keyboard and a mouse when you can have this? It's so compact. Like, keyboard and a mouse in a controller form. Is there really anything better on the market? Like, come on. I don't know how people aren't thinking of these. Like, it's just so intuitive to me, isn't it? And it looks good as well. That's a plus. And it's free, complimentary, on the house, just for you. Oh yes, and of course we also need a monitor to display everything on. But I did say before we were completely out of budget. But I did find this TV monitor when I was coming over, so it was just on the side of the street. One man's trash is another man's treasure. It's pretty useful right now, isn't it? Okay, let me show you. It doesn't even look that bad. It's got a retro feel to it. It's nice and cozy. You won't find anything else like it these days. It'll be a perfect complement to your a little bit heavy as well. I wiped down the screen a little bit earlier. No cracks or anything, so it's in pretty good condition. Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna put that down again. It's kind of heavy. So, what did you think of all my recommendations for you? Pretty good, right? You can call me anything you want. Connoisseur, entrepreneur. You flatter me. Anyway, now can you just write down your bank account here and your name, home address, phone number, just all that jazz. You don't even need to lift a finger. I'll get that all delivered to you, and I'll even help set it up. Complimentary on the house. No delivery fees needed. Any and all costs from the parts that I recommended can just be directly deducted from your bank account. Does it sound good? Well, I do hope you enjoy your new setup, and feel free to contact me if you have any issues or queries. And your bank account, just right here, please. Okay, here's the pen. Perfect, just keep filling that in. I'll get that all sorted for you, and I'll see you pretty soon, actually.